Barn Talk, where the truth takes a stroll. Life's little lessons with a heart full of soul. From sunrise chores to the good Lord's plan. It's Roger's Barn Talk. Pull up, my friend.
Welcome, and for another edition of Barn Talk, the real Barn Talk. I'm honored tonight. I've got April Kindred with us, and we're going to be talking about her missions. I guess it's compassion. I don't know, calling, whatever you want to call that. It's amazing. This will be her 21st trip.
That's right.
Going,
Yes,
and that is exciting. That's exciting. That is an amazing feat that you've done there, and what God's done. Anyway, I just before I turn it over to her and going with that, I just want to give a little background and some stuff that April. I've known you for quite some time.
a
We've
long
been
time.
close to my family for a long time, and we love you dearly.
Oh, I love y'all.
Like you're one of ours, and but you came this past year. You came to work and start working with my daughter at the clinic. And
Yes.
I was just telling before we went on air here. I said it's amazing. I said we come up there and I walk in and up there and it's like, man, it's not that it didn't always have a good feeling, because it has.
Mm.
Boy, now it's like revival.
Ooh,
I mean, we come in there and it's like, there's liberty in that house.
yes.
And I love that. I look for that everywhere I go. Is that
Absolutely.
liberty, because that's where things can happen.
Absolutely.
It's not bound. There's
Mhm.
liberty. That means that there's no binding.
Come on.
And so I like that, and that's the way it feels in your presence there, and the way you love, and all them girls has taken to you, and them ladies up there, and I love it.
Well,
So that's a good thing. I'm not trying to embarrass you.
right.
That is a fact, and that's a state of mind and a heart that
Mm.
that loves the Lord, and
Absolutely.
your intentions on letting your light shine wherever you're at. You
Mm.
do that well,
Well,
and it should be an example for all of us.
oh,
And thank you for that.
well.
Yes, that's a difference maker. I think
Mhm.
I always tell I want to be.
Yes.
That's what you are,
Oh,
and I love
yes.
that. And those girls, you're making a huge difference in their lives and in everybody else that walks through there. So they see it and
Well,
they know it. So thank you for that.
well, I tell you, I've never been, I've never been so humbled and so blessed and all the things to be working at the place that I am now. If I've ever known I'm at the right
Mhm.
place at the right time, I'm just so grateful that, like you said, it's like that place already. There's always Christian gospel music, worship music playing all the time, and it makes a difference. And Jesus is doing big things.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
I'm just, there's a song I've been listening to. It says, uh, talks about Jesus, whatever you're doing in this season, don't do it without me.
Yeah.
And that's my
Please don't
prayer.
do it without me.
Mm,
Yes.
exactly.
Love that. I love that. Well, I guess I got a few questions and some things that, and if you feel free to just talk about anything
Well,
you
all
want to,
right, okay.
but because there's liberty here, that's what we pray
Yes.
for, and been wanting to do this for quite some time. We just knew getting this podcast going, and but anyway, the few of the questions that I had and that we come up with that like I mentioned on the opening, that this will be your 21st trip.
21st. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And so I guess one of my first ones, because for me, there has to be a first
Right.
and a reason for the first,
Yes.
and what made you decide to want to go to Uganda to begin with?
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna make this as short as I can.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause it's a long story. Um, I've been in church my whole life. I'm talking my whole life, and I got saved when I was 12. Been playing the piano at my church since I was 14. But I was so shy. Oh, so shy, so backward. If I didn't know you, I couldn't even look in your eye. It was so bad. And it wasn't until I was grown, I was married, had my children, that I'm talking the Holy Spirit started doing the work in my life. He started drawing me to a place that I'd never been before. And I started seeking the Lord. I asked him this question: why did you put me on this earth? I asked that question. And I mean, I was going after him with all of my heart. And if you seek him, If you really seek him, you'll find him,
Absolutely.
and he will speak. He will tell you what his plans are for you. So I was asking the Lord what my purpose was, and he called me to be a missionary. And my first response was, "Well, you got the wrong gal." That's what my initial response was. But at that same time that I was praying that prayer, a group from our church, our youth pastor at the time, the Lord was dealing on his heart about taking a mission trip. So he took the youth and they went to Uganda, Africa. And when they came back from that trip and they were showing the pictures and they were telling about all the miracles they had seen, my heart, I can't describe to you what my heart was beating out of my chest. I thought, oh my goodness. And I thought, all these questions were going through my mind. Why in the world would he choose me? I don't have what it takes. All of these thoughts in your mind. But I kept on seeking him, and he kept confirming over and over and over that's why I'm on planet Earth, is to go there and be a missionary and tell everybody that I meet about Jesus.
Love
Oh,
it. I love it.
absolutely.
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, I know that it. You mentioned something in the middle of that I should have said in the opening.
Mm.
For the ones of you that know April knows that I'm telling straight out like it is, and the ones of you don't know, she's probably the best piano player there in this
Oh,
country. And if she's not the best, she's one of the best.
oh,
One of the most anointed piano players I've ever heard,
oh.
and I love it.
Mm.
And anyway, but yeah, that's an amazing story. That's how God will do. And I remember when you was bashful, and I remember
Yes.
when you was like that. Well, the second question that I have, and we're asking you the first trip, but what's the difference? This is a big question.
Okay.
What's the difference between your first experience in Uganda and your 20th one?
Oh, goodness.
Because I'm sure there's a difference between what you've experienced and how the levels. Because God will do that. I mean,
Yes,
and
he
so
will.
many things. He'll change. He'll change. And the experience you'll grow along with it, and it'll
Yes,
grow. And so I'm curious to.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That first trip that I went on,
Hmm.
the only way I can describe that is even the second my feet stepped off that plane onto Ugandan soil, it's like Jesus changed even my very DNA. Everything changed about me that first trip. And it's like I went through that first trip was like spiritual boot camp for me. I guess that's the best way to
Yeah.
put it. I learned lessons in that first trip that are priceless to me now. That first trip, the lessons that I learned shaped who I am now. So that one was just a training ground for me to learn and to shape me and mold me to start me out on this path. And now, trip number 21.
Yeah.
20 trips later. Well, I'm gonna try not to cry about it, but
It's okay if you do.
the miracles that I've seen Jesus do there since that time. Oh my goodness. It's like it keeps on building my faith up. And every time now I always go on a mission to help the people, and the Lord used me to minister to those people in whatever capacity he wants me to. Um, but this time I keep growing, and it's like I'm going with a different mindset now than that first time. I was so new, and I was so um oh my goodness, so green at everything. But now I'm coming with all of these experience and all of these testimonies of the things that I've seen. And now with this trip coming up, it's maybe a little bit of a dangerous mission. There's even local Ugandan people that are afraid to go to this area. Had I not gone through those other trips, trip number 1,
Yeah.
to get this revelation from Jesus of who is really on the inside of me. It has nothing to do about our talents or anything about us. It's all about who's on the inside
That's
of us.
exactly right.
Oh, and it's Jesus. I'm coming with experience now, and with just more of an expectation of even more miracles, and just to believe Jesus for exactly what he wants to do. And he wants to do big things.
Absolutely.
Not only there in Uganda, but here, right
Yes.
here
Yes.
in this area, he wants to do big things. So I guess that's the biggest difference
Well,
now.
that's good answers. For us and for me, I got
Mhm.
asked to go to Uganda,
Yes.
and actually I've been asked several times,
Mhm.
and so far, I haven't been led to do that.
Right.
And it's not that, the thing he kept in my heart and he
Mhm.
kept doing with me is more, there's a mission field right
Absolutely.
here too. So,
Yes.
and so it takes all,
Mm.
and it's not one more important than other. There's no
No.
human more important or any less important than another.
Absolutely.
And we have people hurting probably within the sound of my voice
Yes,
if I
sir.
got outside and hollered real loud. Um, and I want to be a difference maker for them.
Yes, sir.
So that's
Absolutely.
kind of, and that's what I told them then. I said, don't hold it against me to
Mm.
that. And they didn't. I mean,
Right.
it wasn't, and because I respect,
Yes.
with everything within me,
Mhm.
I respect what you're doing and what they do, and
Yes.
others that does that. My brother Turner loves to do it.
Absolutely.
Kate's love
Yes.
to do that.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I got nothing but I just all kinds of respect for that.
Mm.
Because it takes and needs it and
Yes,
what
sir.
you're doing. Um, in my case, it was more
Mhm.
here. And then we had the barn ministry and the thing like this. I
Yes.
know it's not about
Absolutely.
us right now,
No.
but that's kind of how it happened. And
Yes.
then even in this opportunity with this podcast now, I use that as a mission field. I mean, there's going to be people out there
Yes.
that it may not be. God's math in numbers is different than ours. And how I
That's
say
true.
that, and the reason I say that is it may be somebody watching tonight, and then they know somebody.
Mm.
Say, I heard something tonight that spoke to me.
Yes.
And then they share it to their friend. Who's to say what that friend? God knows. 'Cause He's the only one that knows the
Come on.
beginning from the end.
Mhm.
But that math, that's how it works, and that's
Yes.
how it goes. So it really doesn't matter about the numbers.
Right.
It's so long as it's the one, and that's how I always go with this, and that's how I say with yours is,
Yes.
from 1 to 20, and now 21, and the
Mhm.
expectation. I think the experience in life, and that's where, in my case, um, life experiences.
Right.
I've been through so many of them, and I was late in life before I had, and I always say I get upset at myself because
Mm.
I waited so long, but
Mm.
I God knew way better than I knew, but He's used those life experiences to help me
Absolutely.
and to put me in places and get a chance to talk to people and meet
Yes.
people and things like that. Now it's all I want to do. Now
Exactly.
it's all I think about. It's all I want to do.
Yes.
And I'm not happy when I'm not.
Mhm.
I'm not saying not happy, but I'm not happy fully
Right.
unless I'm doing something like that because I love it that much. If that
Absolutely.
makes any sense.
It makes
And
perfect
and
sense.
so that's what I see with this with your
Mhm.
trips there. You know, now, most of my mission field that I've been on in most places is not quite like what you do, and 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 especially with the long flights and things like that, and expensive
Mm.
and things like that. God always make a way. I believe
Absolutely.
this as much as I'm sitting here that if God calls it, He'll fund it.
It's
And
true.
yeah, so I'm not a big fan about try not to be about money and things like that.
Right.
He's always made provisions and made a
Yes.
way, but it takes it
Right.
and it takes money to do things like
Mhm.
that. So and we'll get to that down the road in a little while. But in my case, I traveling and doing all these different camp meetings and different places, and I love that.
Yes, sir.
I love it, and it's coming up for us. It starts in a
Right.
week.
Yes.
In a week from now, and we'll be the rest of the summer. We'll be the rest of the summer, a week or two out of every month. We'll be gone, traveling, and so this podcast going on the road too.
All
So,
right.
so we'll get to
Wonderful.
to share and meet and talk with people and different ones, and I'm excited about that.
Me
So,
too.
yeah.
Me
Anyway,
too.
let me see other questions. I've got a few others that um some of your needs that you have. I don't know how if you can carry stuff with you from here over or.
Yes, I can carry some things with me.
Mhm.
I'm taking a little bit extra luggage this time more than I do. I've got a lot of shoes. We have an orphanage there. There's over 300 children, orphanage and a school there. So we're trying to get sandals for
Mhm.
all of the children there. So, but I'm taking more than normal. But normally I can't. I can only just take a limited amount with me.
Mhm.
So what we're doing, this area in particular that I'm going to, the biggest need there is for food. They are literally dying of starvation in this area that I'm going. And I've been to this area. This will be my third time to that area, I believe. Third or fourth, sorry. And it uh, all the other times I've gone, it's all I can do not to just sit down and just cry because the situation is so, um, oh, it pulls on your heartstrings to see people. There was one place people were just eating leaves off of this tree, just trying to survive. So the biggest need that I have there is food. They don't really like outsiders coming there. It's a dangerous place. There's even cannibalism that goes on there, all kind of things. And they don't like outsiders. Like I even said, Ugandan people are even afraid to go there. But they don't like outsiders and they don't let them in unless they have food. So food is my way in. Jesus, he's so smart. He always has a plan. So what I do, I always, when people donate money for that cause, it goes straight for that food. We buy 100-pound bags of rice, beans, posho is another thing we do. So as we go in with the food, the natural food, that's just our way. That's our door in, our ticket in to get to these people.
Yeah.
Jesus gives us such grace, and that opens up the door. Then we tell them about Jesus. We were able to go to one place to take a crusade there at night out in the open air, and that never had there in that area had there been a crusade ever there. People came. I don't have enough time to tell you all the testimonies that happened, but Jesus saved people in numbers. So to answer that question, food is the biggest need there, and the best way to do it, instead of me transporting it there, it would be too expensive to get it from here. But there's a place in Kampala. It's that you can buy everything wholesale. We get it for the best price. We don't spend Jesus's funds carelessly. We always find the best use of that money,
Right.
and we load up. We have a big truck that we have to haul all of our crusade equipment. So we pack as much food as we can in that place, and then we get there, divvied it up to each family, and we tell them about Jesus, and they receive Jesus, and he does miracles. Oh my goodness, he delivers people, and it's just amazing. It's
I
amazing.
can only imagine. Well, I've seen videos and things of that nature
Yes,
that
yes.
so I can only imagine. And I love that.
Hmm.
That's an amazing story.
Absolutely.
And with that, so I- question two, and this is not on this list that I have made up, but I'd seen the other day that's talking about travels and things like that. Can you ship stuff over there like UPS or
You
FedEx?
can't, and
I wonder about that.
that is the tough thing about it, 'cause, I've tried to, to inquire about that, and I've asked everywhere, and they don't have mail service there. So, we just have to, we just send if I have the funds, then we can take care of it when I'm there, and even when I'm here in the States, I can send. I have a very, he's a father to me. Emmanuel is his name. He can always, help me get things. If I have extra money to send for food, he can get it there. He can work it out, and I'm so grateful for those connections like that.
Well, that's God. That's the way God.
I know it.
Yeah.
Yes, he sure does.
Yeah. Well, I just wondered about that. I had seen that it's talking about where people luggage and stuff. If just going on vacation and stuff to not have to deal with the airlines,
Mm,
you could ship it UPS to the
I
hotel
know it.
or UPS or FedEx or whatever. And I thought I never thought about that really, and it's cheaper to send your luggage if
Yeah,
you're overweight that way than it is to send
exactly.
it through the airlines.
I
And you're
know
thinking,
it.
I never thought about that like that. But I thought, well, that might be something that
Yeah.
you could go that way. Okay. This is a big one because people, and I know that Miss McCutcheon and some of the others is working
Yes.
on it, and others that will want to be a part, going to be a part
Mm,
of helping
yes.
financially. But how can people, you know, I guess
Yes.
fund into this, pay into this, give into this?
Yes,
Um,
there's several ways. I have even like Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, all of those things that people are welcome to, and I've got the information for that. Even also, if people want to, some people like to send it. I go to Fort Payne Church of God, so they can send it via that way to the church if they would rather do that. Have receipts, and I always want to be so accountable with every cent about that. But those are the best ways I think to get it. Even those Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, or even sending to my church, either one,
right.
and we will get it there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, I didn't know. I thought because that's important because a lot of people sometimes say, well, I would love to sew into that. I just don't know how.
Yes.
And that's something that even with this podcast, I don't have anything yet. It's not new, but
Yes.
we've
Yeah.
not done anything yet as a podcast as far as financially
Right.
to sow into anything. So,
Yes.
but I've got to get that stuff
Absolutely.
done. I gotta get
Yes.
that set up too.
Yes, sir.
Because there are gonna be times that there are gonna be opportunities we can help
Absolutely.
like that. And so we'll do personal and help that way too.
Yes.
But anyway, that's something that's very important because you want to give. But it is. I found that I have to be real careful not cheat people out of blessings because
Right.
I'm not real good at asking people for money.
I
I'm
know it.
just
That's
not.
me.
He's made opportunity for me to, and I always had good health and an opportunity to work and make money
Yes.
and things. And so I just was always real bashful about backward. We call it what we want to. I wasn't real good at asking people for money
Right.
and still not.
Right.
I
That's me
he
too.
made provisions for me and my family and still is. And I'm so thankful. And
Me
it's
too.
like, how can you ask for more?
I know it.
So that kind of thing.
Exactly.
So, and like tonight at the barn, you'll be preaching there tonight,
Yes.
and and we don't take up we're not normal. Like a
Exactly.
lot of places, we don't take up an offering like people. We put an offering plate at the back door, and if you feel led to give, you give. If you don't, and
I think that's
I'm gonna tell you,
wonderful.
he supplies. He knows.
He's
So
faithful.
faithful. That's what I tell him all the time. He do the trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
He do the trust because I'm telling you, he's faithful. And my thing is and some people say, oh, you got accused of this here a while back about, being more speaking about, I don't know, the prosperity kind of stuff and all that. And I'm thinking, man, you're missing the mark. You're missing it, at least for me anyway.
Yeah.
And then you look at it and say, okay, define prosperity.
Right.
Because that book is full prosperity
Yes,
preaching as far as and I always tell them all the time, I'm the most blessed man you'll ever meet. You heard me say this.
Absolutely.
I'm the most blessed man you'll ever meet. And it ain't got a thing to do with a dollar.
That's right.
So the
Yes.
prosperity speaking is because I just came through a health issue and came out the backside of it cancer free.
Come on.
And I could
Ooh.
turn backflips. Tell me that ain't prosperity speaking. I'm going, yes, that's and
Exactly.
so I get accused of that. And they say, well, it ain't all like that. Well, why can't it be like that?
Right.
Why can't we take the Bible and take those same scriptures that was given to us for example setters,
Right.
and use it to say the glass is half full instead of half empty?
Absolutely.
That's prosperity preaching, if you want to call it that way. But that's a way to look at it because it's a whole lot more positive to wake up in the morning with the glass half full
Absolutely.
and say, Lord, what you got for me today, than it is half empty and say, Lord, what you putting on me today?
Exactly. Yes.
You see my difference, and I just so I got accused that a couple times, and I thought, man, you're missing the mark with me,
Right.
But that I think sometimes they'd like to rob our smile.
Uh-huh.
You got a beautiful smile. You got a Jesus smile
Well.
that you do, and it's that line. And I try to have it. I want to have it.
Absolutely.
I'm hungry for that. And then people say stuff like that, and all of a sudden it makes you question, And I'm not a prosperity money preacher. That's
Right.
not because I'm not a preacher. First of all, I think we're all called to the ministry
Yes.
and then share the good news of the Lord. But I'm not one that everything's got to be about a dollar.
Right.
Uh,
Exactly.
it's not. But it takes that. It takes money,
Yes.
and He knows.
Absolutely.
That's the reason I always say that if He calls it, He
Absolutely.
calls you to Uganda 21 times. It ain't cheap.
You got that right.
But He's always been faithful.
He has always been faithful.
Thank you. That's my point.
I'm telling you. Yes.
So sit here. I'd rather talk like we have instead of talk more about the money.
Exactly.
He'll take care of that.
It's true.
Yeah, there's people out there that's listening that will help, and everywhere we go.
Yes,
and,
sir.
I believe that. I
do
do. And we have revivals here and stuff, and people say, man, He always makes a way.
He always.
Always the bills are paid. Always the people are taken care of.
Yes.
I don't think one person's ever left here that wasn't taken care of like it should
Right.
be. And it's all on Him. That's all God's provisions. And that's the same way for you over there. He knows He's one who created it, so He knows. But the access is the food. Well, food, it takes money,
Yes, sir.
and it takes somebody willing to organize, and it takes, and he knows all that.
Yes, sir.
And just getting to be a part of that, to me, I can see the excitement, and I get to do so. We get to do some of that here. We got to feed uh, at the high school for a couple of years. I'm not sure how many, 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And then the school took it away, and it's crazy how politics sometimes works.
I
But
know it.
it's, I didn't realize that just in our area close to where we're at, some 30-something kids homeless
Oh,
that's in the school system here,
goodness.
living on somebody's couch or somebody's something. And you're thinking, oh my
I
God,
know it.
that's right here.
Exactly.
And you're thinking, my goodness, and so we for a long time done
Mhm.
that backpack
Yes.
feeding, and I love that.
I know
And
it.
we would carry that to the school, and there's a lot of different people from different places have different schools and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think ours, we had somewhere north of 30 maybe
My
kids
goodness.
that we were. I think that's right. Yeah,
Yes.
33, 33. And
My goodness.
that's right here in one
Yes.
school.
Oh, I tell you, you know, we know very well that Jesus is coming back quick. And the more I get that realization in my spirit about it, we've got a lot of work to
Ain't
do
that the
for
truth?
Jesus.
Ain't
I'm
time to sit
telling you.
down.
Yes, it's
That's
all around. Ministry is all around us. We were talking at work the other day about everywhere that Jesus went, he was doing miracles. But most of the time, when those miracles happened, it was an interruption. He was on his way somewhere, and then the woman with the issue of blood came and touched all of those things. And I think how many times opportunities maybe we've missed because we didn't have time for the interruptions. But all around us, just like you said, there's opportunities, even Walmart, grocery store, wherever, there's opportunities of people in need. And I don't want to waste any time.
me neither.
I
The
don't wanna
best,
waste any
the
time.
best Sunday school lessons I've ever been able to put together to teach
Yeah.
when I was teaching Sunday school some was at the dollar store, the Dollar General. I'm telling you, you want to get you a good Sunday school lesson, go to
Yeah.
Dollar General
Right.
or Walmart. I mean, it's the
Yes.
same thing, but Dollar General for me, because you can, if you'll open your eyes
Yes, sir.
and be aware of what your surroundings are,
Mm.
you'll see needs.
Yes, sir. It's
I
true.
it's just I said this, and I've said it, and I will say it a lot of times, and however long this goes, however whatever the Lord has. But for me, um, He speaks to us in small, still voices.
Yes.
But He, for years of my life, and I think that I'm not the only one. I don't think I'm a person that stands alone in this. I think there's a lot of folks that He's trying to talk to.
Yes.
Um, that if He was using a freight train, they wouldn't hear Him.
Mm.
And I was one of those that He could have hit me with a Mack truck. And I thought, what was that?
Right.
And in all reality, it was Him all along trying to speak to me and saying, hey, son,
Exactly.
slow down and let me talk to you. Let
Yes.
me show you what's around the corner.
Right.
Let me show you a need here.
Mm.
And once I realized that,
Yes.
boy,
It was a game changer.
man, that's exactly what that was.
Yes.
And some of my best stories that I'm gonna get to tell and things, it's come from stuff like that.
Right.
One time dollar store and a lady and some kids, and I'll get
Mm.
into that store one of these days. But man, I come home, I had church from the dollar store to here, and had to stop 3 times for the crying to wipe because it spoke to me so
Yes.
much. Little 10-year-old
Boy.
boy, 9 or 10, I'd say 10, he was right in that age. But I was parked beside him,
Mm.
and I didn't have but 2 little things. She had a buggy full.
Yes.
And so she was trying to get it all put in. She was in front of me, and she's putting it in her vehicle, and I was parked beside her. And so when I started out, she spoke to me again about thank you. I said,
Right.
now, and so we went on. Well, I turned the corner. I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah.
This is where the stuff that gets you.
Uh-huh.
This is what wrecked my boat that day. When I turned the corner, I was happy. Don't get me wrong. I was tickled to be able to do what I done, but
Yeah.
the Lord made the way. But I wasn't ready.
Right.
Because when I turned the corner to get to my vehicle, to get to my door, the back door of the vehicle that they was in
Mm.
opened, and that little boy looked up through that crack of that thing and said, thank you. Thank you for what you did for my mama.
Mm.
And the message in that, it wrecked me like a train, because I I remember being that age. My mom and dad was divorced.
Yes.
My mom always I was blessed to have what we had. She
Right.
done good. But I can remember, and I was 63 years old, and I can
Yes.
still remember every person that was good to my mama,
Mm.
and I can remember the ones that
It
weren't.
makes an impression.
And I'm telling you, and for that little boy, I kept thinking to myself, "You're too young. You shouldn't even known what just happened.
Mm.
You shouldn't even have had to know. You should have been young and innocent and having a good time and just enjoying being 10 years old or however old he was,
Yeah.
and not had to worry about money and finances and
Mm.
food and groceries and things like that. You shouldn't have to be worrying about all that."
Right.
Oh, but he identified. He saw it,
Exactly.
and he said that to me. I sit down in my bed and just squall like a baby.
Mm.
I could cry right now. I mean, I cried like a baby. I thought, man, of all the things, Lord help these kids and these families, and because man, life's too short,
That's right.
and the lady, she was so thankful, so caught off guard
Mm-hmm.
that somebody would do that, and I thought, man,
Right.
Lord have mercy, that was, that was actually really simple compared to some things that you know, but to her it was
It was
huge.
big. I know it.
It was huge, and for that little boy.
Yeah.
She had 3 kids, but that little boy happened to, and it brought back and I sit there in the parking lot. They pulled off and left, and I
Oh.
sit there and cried
Oh.
and I finally got my eyes cleared enough where I could drive.
Right.
Start back up here and come up to the red light up here, and I'm squalling so bad I had this man
I know.
pull off the side of the road and sit up here for a few minutes,
Wow.
and then I just got to talking and thinking. I got to
Yes.
thanking him. I thought, "Oh, thank you for this
I
opportunity.
know it.
Thank you for loving us."
Mm.
It's what he done. When he crawled on that cross that day, when he sent his son, and his son came here and done what he did,
Yes.
no
Oh
one
my
all along.
goodness.
And then when he did that, he'd already shown the human side when he questioned,
Yes.
Lord, if it's not.
Right.
And then he crawled on that cross with me and you and his intention and in his mind.
Mm.
Same way it is. He had me and you. Those people in Uganda is the same way. That
Absolutely.
little family right
Yes,
down
sir.
here that night or that afternoon, it's
Mm.
the same thing. And it wrecked me.
Yeah.
I mean, it wrecked. So that was my Sunday school lesson the next morning.
Wow.
And man, it was like,
Glory.
we got fired up again and cried like a baby. Telling because, it was opportunity.
Yes, sir.
It was opportunity to share something that I didn't have to say a word.
Right.
I didn't embarrass her in front of a lot of other people, nothing like that. I nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
None of it. I just looked at the cashier and she knew.
Right.
And that lady, she couldn't believe it. And I thought,
Right.
we ain't going there. It's okay. And I just
Exactly.
look at her and I tell all people all the time, and that's the same thing with this, you know, y'all help her. Because I
Mhm.
mean, this is good stuff, and for me, I have a hard time letting people.
I know it.
And people will look at me and they'll say, and it stuck with me. Don't cheat me out of this blessing.
Right.
I'm doing this because I want to help.
Yes.
It's not because I feel obligated. I don't feel like I have to do it. I want to do it because the Lord's blessed me, so I can do it.
Absolutely. I
I want
know
to be
it.
a part. And that has been the way I've had to learn how to, we've done the big tent revival,
Right.
and to begin with, I thought, man, I don't even want to have I don't want to have an offering. I want us just to fund this thing, and the Lord's blessed us to be able to do. And Brother Turner,
Right.
all the people. I mean, he was big about
Yeah.
that, and I love him dearly.
I do too.
Love everybody that came to that and support that. But he drove out here one day. I was mowing, and he come out, and it's a good story because he came out and he says, "You got a minute?" And I said, "Man, I got all day.
Right.
I'm doing mowing grass." And he said, "I need to talk to you about something very important. Big tents out there, and that night, we had a
Right.
big crowd coming in. And I was trying to get mowed." And he said, "I need to talk to you about something."
Yeah.
He said, "And son, this is very important."
Mm.
He said, "You need to really rethink this about the offering and all
Right.
this and how you." I said, "Well, I don't know how to do." He said, "Well, that's the reason I'm here. The
Wow.
Lord has led me out here to tell you, don't cheat people out of the blessing.
Mm.
People giving into offering is not giving it to you.
Exactly.
It's not about looking at you and saying that all I've got to do is this what you said earlier. It's
Yes.
got to be a good steward of what he does.
Absolutely.
Make sure that we do with that money like it's supposed to be done.
Yes, sir.
And don't go in
Right.
my pocket and or Dana's money. We'd
Absolutely.
never take nothing.
Exactly.
He's done made provision for us.
Right.
Um, we'll put it right back into the people and sow it back in. And he said, just be a good steward.
Absolutely.
You know, my little book that Dana gave me, the first book she ever gave me, told us, okay,
Right.
yeah, my little book, Prayer Jabez.
Mm.
You know,
Yes.
what a story. And I never forgot that, you know, that it's just, I don't know, Lord, expand my territory.
Absolutely.
If it's no further than right here,
Mm.
yours is all the way to Uganda. Think about that. Mine may be just right here, but you know, I'm thankful, and
Me
I know
too.
you are too.
I'm so
I know,
grateful.
I know you are. So, but anyway, well, what we're going to hope for, we can ask everybody to, you know, to sow into this, and
Mm.
I guess we'll get Dana to give your information on
Sure.
and have her put it on this, and we'll do it as a drop, and
That'd be great.
that way everybody can see it, and then maybe we can get everybody to sow into this and
Oh,
help that way. You don't know how much I appreciate you, and we love you.
well, I appreciate you and you're our family to me.
And
Miss
we
Dean and Ashley. Sean, I
wish,
love you.
I wish, and we're going to be able to do this. This is all new, so
Right.
we're just learning.
Yes.
But we're going to try to get some of this stuff set up down at the barn so we can do a lot of our services like tonight.
That'd
You know,
be
and
great.
do them and then do them online.
Yes.
And things like that. So we could do it with phones and things like that, but it ain't nothing like this.
Exactly.
This stuff. And so that's some things we want to do like tonight. So I wish all these folks could you preach tonight because
Oh,
I'm excited. I can't wait.
me too.
And stuff. So anyway, I think that's all the questions I had. Let me check my list before I
All right.
no, I got one more.
Okay.
I got one more.
All right.
This is probably the biggest and the best one of them yet, and then we'll get out here.
Hmm.
If somebody, a young person like yourself, when you was talking about when you was bashful and
Yes.
didn't think you could do anything for the Lord's work, you
Yes.
wouldn't even talk to people.
Hmm.
What advice would you give to somebody like yourself now that you've been there 21 times, 20
Yes.
times, heading to 21?
Absolutely. I would tell them if I could go back and tell my younger self, I would say the same thing. Seeking the Lord is nothing like it. You seek him, and the more you seek him, the more he reveals himself, and the more he will confirm his calling. And if it's his will for them to go, whatever, whether it's missions or what preaching, whatever that Jesus is calling them to, seeking the Lord, blocking out the distractions, going after him is invaluable. Okay, here's part two.
Mm,
Is saying yes.
yeah.
Obedience. Oh my goodness. Obedience. Even if it doesn't make any sense,
Yes. I love it.
even if it's bigger than you. This was so bigger than me. I've I don't I'm not rich. All of those things. We make it. Jesus is faithful to us and we make it, but I don't have a surplus. But what he's called us to was bigger than me.
Yes.
And even you hear my accent, how southern it is, and I thought how will they even understand what I'm saying? Oh, when he calls you, you seek him. When he says it, your answer needs to be, oh, yes. You need to be obedient in whatever it is. And if ever I could ever help someone, if you feel like Jesus is calling you to the mission field, you reach out to me. I would love, love, love to talk to you and pray with you. But I'm just telling you, what he calls you to will always be bigger than you, and he will always make a way.
I love it.
That's it.
I love that. That is awesome. That
Yes, sir.
is great advice.
Mm.
That's sort of like this podcast for me.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do it for a long time and had
Yes.
dream of doing this and because this like this right here. I love the
Exactly.
interaction stuff.
Me too.
And but it's way bigger than me. 'Cause
Absolutely.
I'm not a technical guy.
Mm.
I drive race cars. I love to race and drive, ride motorcycles and run backhoe and
Yes.
bulldozers and dump trucks.
I know it.
That's my kind of gig. But God has made a way, and He knows, like you said, it's way bigger than me.
Absolutely. And the reason he does that, the reason he calls us to things that are way bigger than us is because he wants all of the glory.
Yes,
And he deserves all of the glory.
absolutely, absolutely.
Nobody can say, man, that Roger boy, I knew he had everything it took for that podcast. It's bigger than that. And people can say, my goodness, it has to be Jesus because they knew you before.
That's exactly. Yeah.
And look now what Jesus has done.
That's exactly right. And I'm more proud, I guess, of that right there. As far as if I had something to be proud of,
Yes.
was the fact that what I've been forgiven of is so much. And the people who knew me then and know me
Yes.
now, and I've had that come back to me, and people said, from another guy, party kind of deal, said, I was just by a friend of yours and said, he asked me, had I seen you lately?
Right.
Talking about me. And he said, well, no. And he said, well, hang on. He ain't the same guy you used to
Exactly.
know. And to me, that was a compliment. And
Absolutely.
I thought, that is the Lord showing up right there.
Yes, sir.
That's that light we're talking about. And I
Absolutely.
want it to shine bright. I want it to be the light, That's how I pray all the time.
Me
I
too.
prayed it today already, and I'll pray it again tonight, probably 2 or 3 more times.
Yes, sir.
Lord, let my light shine so bright
Mm-hmm.
that when people look upon me, they see nothing but you. That's what I want,
Me too.
and I think he wants us to have that yes on our lips, because you never know. It
Right.
says to be ready in season and
Yes,
out
sir.
of season. Well, the only way to do that is to have a yes.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a yes in your heart.
Right.
Lord, I know it's you.
Yeah.
I want to, and that's another thing, and that's something that is very, very important, and it's going to be a topic one of these nights. It's discernment.
Yes, sir.
How important to use discernment and use that gift in our lives to know
Yeah.
what it's him and what it ain't him. That
Definitely.
yes needs to be there, but it don't need to be used when it ain't right.
Right.
And how many times is it so? Because we always want to tell everybody yes. Everyone don't know.
Exactly.
Sometimes
Right.
discernment, it's the only way you're gonna know.
It's
Lord,
key.
let me, so anyway, that's
Yes.
that's a whole nother story.
Oh, I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, me too. So anyway, well, April, thank you so much for doing this. This means so much, and we'll do it again. I promise.
Oh,
When you get home,
I'll tell you, we'll
yeah,
have a testimony.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that, and you can count on it. We're going to do that because this is going to be, it's going to be exciting.
Yes, sir.
And I'm so proud of you.
Oh,
I mean, you like ours anyway, and and I know your mom and dad are super proud of you,
oh,
and they're beautiful babies, and now your
yeah,
granddaughter,
yes.
man. How exciting is that? That's awesome. So anyway, I want to say thank you.
Well,
Thank
I
you.
thank you for,
Yeah.
I'm just so humbled. I'm honored to be here. I'm so
Well,
honored.
we're new. We're getting off the ground with this thing and having a lot of good. I mean, just everywhere I'm going, I'm hearing a lot of good things. And so that's
Yes.
a good thing.
It's a
That's
wonderful thing.
exciting, and and I'm excited about it because it's all the Lord. It's all that dream, and it came at the right time when
Absolutely.
it was right,
Mm,
and like Dana said, there's an urgency hit,
yes.
and it's here. And to say that along with that, and then we'll get out of here. When she talked about the urgency, you're right. We do have a lot of work to do.
It's true.
And I said this on a thing I recorded last night, um, with my health and things. We're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Right.
And so I tell them, I said, my most days are behind me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to live to be 126 years old. Chances are I'm just not going to do it. And not many people, if any, anymore. But you know what? I do believe that my best years are ahead of me
It's true.
because of what he's allowing, but I got to have that yes, and I got to have that, and got to be praying
Yes.
for that,
Right.
Lord, and your will be done.
Uh-huh.
And so my best years are here. I can't wait. I can't wait till tomorrow. Can't wait till tonight.
Come
I
on.
mean, that's really and
Yes.
truly, that's the way I look
Absolutely.
at that, and I'm excited about that.
Me too.
And if that's prosperity preaching, then I'm all in because that's good stuff.
That's
It ain't got a thing to do with a dollar. It's all about a mindset
yes.
and then believing what you're reading in the Word.
Yes, sir.
And it's what it was given to us for. It was
Exactly.
given the examples bad of what not to do. Tell them all the time.
Right.
And I'm going to leave on this one. I read and I had a chance to speak at the church, and I read the first verse of Genesis
Yes.
and the last verse of Revelation.
Right.
That's what the Lord gave me that morning. And I told him, I said, you know what that is? You know what that is? And I said, that is the bookends to the greatest love story that's ever been written. So there's everything in between those two verses
right.
that can get us eternal life with him. What else do you want? I mean, that's what the whole goal is. But in that same book,
yes,
there's in between those two scriptures is everything that'll keep you away from him too.
Come on.
So he's given us the example of both ways.
Yes.
Now it's our choice.
Exactly.
So it's choices. And I choose.
Yes.
I choose. And I'm glad that I wished I'd done a lot earlier than I did. I missed out on so much joy.
Well,
Had a lot of good times.
right.
Big difference in good times and joy.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, I could go. We'll pick up on that later. I'm sorry. We could go on, and we got to get you down. You got to preach.
That's right.
But I just want you to know we love you,
love you
and
too.
for all y'all, my family, and I try to say this every night because it's the truth. I mean this, and if you know my family, you know it's the truth. Me and from my family and from this Barn family, we love y'all.
Yes.
And so I see you. This will be dropped on Tuesday night, 6 o'clock. So look for it. I'm excited. No, this one won't. No, Israel's on Tuesday night, 6 o'clock.
Mhm.
This one may be tonight.
All
It may drop. This may drop tonight or tomorrow. I ain't sure.
Gotcha.
My boss will tell me.
That's
Yeah, she'll handle that anyway. But we love y'all, and everybody have a good night. And thank you for everything you're doing. And keep April in mind, and keep her in your prayers, and finance it if you can, and you can help her. She'll appreciate it,
absolutely.
and you know God will, and you'll be blessed for it. So thank you, and y'all have a blessed night. See you soon. Bye.
Out here where the hay meets the sky, Roger's got stories you can't deny. Faith, family, and everyday grind. Pull up a seat, you'll find peace of mind. Barn Talk, where the truth takes a stroll. Life's little lessons with a heart full of soul. From sunrise chores to the good Lord's plan, it's Roger's Barn Talk. Pull up, my friend. The rooster crows and the coffee brews, sharing the faith that's some hard-earned dues. Every hammer swing, every prayer sign, Roger's here to talk life, yours and mine. Barn Talk, where the truth takes a stroll. Life's little lessons with a heart full of soul. From sunrise chores to the good Lord's plan, it's Roger's Barn Talk. Pull up, my friend. Just lending ear. Patchwork stories and lessons unfold. Barn Talk's a treasure worth more than gold. Barn Talk, where the truth takes a stroll. Life's little lessons with a heart full of soul. From sunrise chores to the good Lord's plan, it's Roger's Barn Talk. Pull up, my friend.